Hello, movie buffs and philosophy freaks. I am Carla McFadden, a freshman at Queen's University of Charlotte, here today to analyze the film Lady Bird, directed by Greta Gerwig. This coming-of-age film follows the journey of a teenager growing up in Sacramento, California. Christine, self-proclaimed as Lady Bird, is graduating from her Catholic high school and aspires to attend college on the East Coast, despite her family's financial hardships. Growing up on the wrong side of the tracks in Sacramento, Lady Bird feels out of place at her Catholic school among her richer peers and conservative nuns. The plot propels through Lady Bird's relationships with other characters, specifically her mother, Marion, a nurse who works tirelessly to support Lady Bird and doesn't let her forget it. Lady Bird longs to distance herself from her family and from Sacramento, yet still seeks the validation of her mother and the opinions of others. This film documents her internal growth and struggles through her trials and tribulations as a high school senior. In the beginning, she steps out of her comfort zone when she auditions for the school play with her best friend Julie, and immediately falls in love with the lead, Danny. These relationships that she cultivates symbolize her growth. When Lady Bird finds out that her boyfriend, Danny, is actually a closeted homosexual, firsthand catching him kissing another man at a party in the closet, she processes her emotional turmoil with Julie. Her acceptance of Kyle is Lady Bird's first acceptance of things as they are. But not before long, Lady Bird forgets the strength of this friendship she has with Julie, only to abandon her to hang out with the rich and popular Jenna and the cool and alternative boy, Kyle. As she gets closer with them, friendships based on lies, she turns her back on Julie. Behind her mother's back, she goes to her father for financial aid assistance in applying to East Coast schools. And eventually, she finds out that she got into and can afford New York College. After her graduation, her father accidentally reveals this information, which causes her mother not to speak to Lady Bird the entire summer long. Lady Bird departs to New York by the end of the summer, where she begins to understand how much she has to be grateful for in Sacramento. Throughout this entire movie runs the theme of the arrival fallacy. Lady Bird believes that the majority of her issues stem from her position in Sacramento, things she can't control, her money, her family, where she was born. At first, Lady Bird is narrow-sighted in this assumption. Her idealization of the East Coast sets its standards too high. She puts all of her hope and energy into one basket, into this fantasy that the East Coast could solve all of her problems, or at least bring her more happiness than she has found in Sacramento. Not only this, but she wants to prove her mother wrong, thinking that achieving this goal of getting to the East Coast would fulfill her and damn her mother. But, as Bloom would argue, it turns out that pursuing extrinsic goals related to praise and reward, looking attractive, making money, building up social status, makes you less happy and less fulfilled, and is linked with more depression, anxiety, and mental illness. The perception Lady Bird holds on the East Coast makes her life in Sacramento seemingly more dull, disappointing her even further, and almost ruining the remainder of the time that she has to spend there. I think this fallacy of a mindset is one that impacts many people in their day-to-day happiness, even though they don't realize it. What Lady Bird fails to understand until the conclusion of the movie is that you take yourself wherever you go. Mind, body, and mentality. Lady Bird could also be seen experience this arrival fallacy in another way when it comes to popularity. She ditches her genuine best friend Julie for who she presumes to be the popular crowd, seeking their validation. In doing so, Lady Bird gets herself hurt, as her financial struggles are exposed in her lies to Jenna about her home address, and by Kyle taking advantage of her naivety. She gives her virginity to Kyle, who claims he is also a virgin the night of, but lies in the moment, later on gaslighting her, saying he never said those things. Marcus Aurelius would want to shake Lady Bird by her shoulders, saying, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about the opinions of others." Neither of these friends liked Lady Bird for who she is. And as her faulty relationships begin to crumble, on prom night, she realizes that she would rather go to prom with Julie than to attend a house party with a bunch of fake friends and miss out on this ritual that is prom for seniors. Although Lady Bird might be confused and distracted by this arrival fallacy, unknowingly, her ambition to head to the East Coast is not invalid. Her motivators might be misplaced in wanting this change, but, as Herka describes, to be happy is to take the risk of losing that happiness. All significant accomplishments require taking risks. This insight would support Lady Bird in her journey to find herself on the East Coast, it being a risk to move across the country. She may not have known this, but leaving the comfort of her home risked her losing any happiness that she had in Sacramento, happiness she might not know she even had. Yet, this was a necessary step in her discovering herself, her passions, and her priorities. This risk she took moving across America from the West Coast to the East Coast is the only thing that makes her realize. This risk she takes moving from the West Coast to the East Coast is a necessary one, the only one that will make her realize what is truly fulfilling. Her acceptance of who she is. Like Thich Nhat Hanh describes in You Are Here, happiness can be attained by letting go, including letting go of your ideas about happiness. This quote encapsulates Christine's journey throughout the movie. To accept herself and to find happiness, she had to let go of prior perceptions on happiness and on the dependence of others. Audiences are moved by Christine's acceptance of herself on the East Coast. The movie ends with a phone call to her mother, telling her that she loves her and misses her dearly. Christine lets go of her expectations of others and her narrow perceptions to accept that gratefulness is the key to fulfillment. And that is the philosophy of Lady Bird. Thanks for watching, folks.